Coming up on News 15 at 10, a local church in Lafayette held an outdoor memorial to honor Lafayette residents who have lost their lives to the coronavirus. The Iberia Parish Sheriff's Office has selected a new captain to take over their Bureau of Investigations. We'll tell you who the Sheriff's Office selected in just a bit.
And we're looking at some more rainy weather as you go into your Monday. I'll have the details coming up.
From KLAF NBC, News 15 at 10 starts now.
Good evening. I'm Princess Jeanne Steverson-Lowry. Thank you for choosing News 15 at 10. Two community advocates came together to host a memorial today, honoring those in Lafayette who have lost their lives due to COVID-19. News 15's Kenny Dar has the story.
Allie Roberts and Stacy Conrad, two local community advocates, came together today for a memorial honoring all 225 lives lost due to COVID-19 right here in Lafayette.
This is not just a representation of the people that have died. This is a representation of the exponential impact that their deaths have had on our community as well.
Allie Roberts, who knows several people who lost their lives to COVID-19, emphasizes that the death toll during the pandemic is more than just statistics.
These are your neighbors, these are your teachers, these are your kids' friends' parents. These are not just numbers on a graph. These are real people.
Stacy Conrad hopes having a physical representation of those who have died helps the community get a better grasp on how serious the virus is.
When you hear the number of deaths on the news or you read it in the paper, it may not sound like a lot, but then when you drive by and you see all of these flags, I think it serves as a good visual. Reverend
Michael J. Bordelon of St. Barnabas Episcopal Church, who also blessed the flags during the memorial, says it was a no-brainer when Roberts and Conrad reached out to them about the event.
Whenever they reached out to us and said, hey, are y'all able to help us pray and memorialize and remember some people who've died? Well, we said, yeah, that's what Jesus would do. That's what the church is supposed to be here for. So absolutely, we would love to help.
Bordelon says that for anyone who has lost family, friends, or loved ones because of the virus, it's okay to mourn as long as you may need.
There's no time frame on mourning. You might have had someone who died back in March or February because of this. And if you're still going through it, that's okay. It takes time.
In Lafayette, Kenny Dar, News 15.
If you would like to visit the memorial to pay your respects or to leave a flag at the St. Barnabas Episcopal Church, their address is located at the bottom of your screen. We'll get to the rest of our stories in just a moment, but first we're going to head straight over to Storm Track 15 meteorologist Corey Smith.
Well, more rain and cloudy weather here in the forecast. Unfortunately, some of us down by the coast, especially this afternoon, saw a little bit of breaks in the clouds, but for that full sunshine to come back, we have to wait a few days here, sitting right around 70 degrees this night. I-10, Highway 347, with the light breeze coming out of the south. And with that southerly flow, well, we're experiencing some pretty mild conditions tonight, right around 70 for most areas across Acadiana, 68 in Morgan City, 67 in Jennings, and 68 in Ville Platte. Radar is quiet right now, but as we go into tomorrow, the chance of showers, possibly even some thunder showers moving into the area as we head into the afternoon. So breaking things down, at least for your middle of the day, isolated showers at best, probably right around noon, but that's when our shower chance starts to ramp up a little bit here. Notice temperatures getting close to the middle 70s. We're going to break down what you can expect and what we're tracking for your Monday forecast.
The COVID-19 pandemic has proven itself to be too large of an obstacle for Festival International yet again this year. In an email to their supporters, Executive Director Scott Feehan said the 2021 festival will most likely be virtual like last year's event. As with all Festival Internationals, it will be held over the last weekend in April. But the entire month of April will feature festival foods. Feehan tells supporters that this year's financial goal is, quote, to hopefully break even and not lose more ground after last year. The Iberia Parish Sheriff's Office has hired a new captain for their Bureau of Investigations. The Sheriff's Office has selected John Babin. Here are a few details on the new captain that led the Sheriff's Office to his selection. Sheriff Tommy Ramiro says he is looking forward to working with Babin and having him as a key member of his management team. Captain John, who will begin his position immediately, had this to say. I am constantly impressed by the dedication and professionalism of our law enforcement team here in Iberia Parish, and I'm honored to lead this dynamic department as captain of IPSO of Bureau Investigations and work closely with Sheriff Romero. The Iberia Parish Sheriff's Office and the Louisiana State Police issued a Level 2 Endangered and Missing Child Advisory earlier today. Officers say 3 children went missing with their mother and were believed to be in imminent danger. Those children and their mother have now been safely located. Abbeville police officers have made an arrest on a woman who was holding on to a number of drugs that she disguised in Arizona tea cans with fake bottle caps. The woman on your screen is Paradise Thornton. She has been arrested and booked on the following charges. Thornton was staying at a Sunbelt lodge when she accidentally left the disguised drug bottles behind. Staff members found the bottles and called the officers. When Thornton realized she had left the bottles, she came back to the motel, threatening the staff to return her items. Officers found methamphetamine in the disguised bottles and bags of methamphetamine on Thornton when she was tracked down by footage from the motel. St. Landry Parish Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness says their animal shelter will be closed until further notice due to coworkers being quarantined because of COVID-19. If it's an emergency, the shelter says they will take your phone call at the number listed on the bottom of your screen. Opelousas police officers showed up in information about a group of people in the area in Ina Claire driving, waving around firearms that led to the arrest of 2 men. These are the firearms that led to the arrest of 32-year-old Michael Forbes, who was charged with carrying a firearm and convicted of certain felonies, possession of Schedule II CDS and possessions of firearm with obliterated numbers. These are the firearms and drugs that led to the arrest of 22-year-old Jamie Andrus. Andrus was charged with possession with intent to distribute synthetic marijuana, drug paraphernalia, and firearm in the presence of CDS. Officers also arrested 23-year-old Tyler Burkholder of Andros, Texas. He has been arrested and charged with illegal possession of stolen firearm and 4 other crimes. Last night, just before 8:30, an Opelousas police officer heard gunshots in the area of North Market Street and Cheney Street. The officer found a male who was conscious and responsive at the time. That male later died at a local hospital. Detectives have processed the crime scene, but are urging anyone with information to call Opelousas PD at the number on the bottom of your screen. Louisiana will continue to use an expanded version of absentee by mail voting for the upcoming spring elections under the coronavirus emergency plan that won bipartisan approval from lawmakers Thursday. The emergency rules will allow people to seek an absentee ballot if they are at high risk of severe illness from COVID-19. Governor John Bel Edwards has already announced his support of the plan submitted by Secretary of State Kyle Ardois. Yesterday, 8 of 105 House members agreed to the proposals, along with 35 of 39 senators. The newly approved voting rules are similar to those in place for the November presidential elections. The COVID variant is said to be more lethal than some thought. Up next, we'll tell you how the new variant is already affecting people.